what does healing actually mean? I really wanted to respond to this because I think it's important and honestly overdue. You'll come across a lot of creators in the space who talk about healing, right? How they've healed and how you need to heal, but rarely do they ever explain what that actually looks like. It's a word that gets thrown around so much that it starts to feel abstract or even performative. So I wanted to just break it down in a way that feels real and practical. First, what it isn't. Healing is not about becoming perfect or never feeling pain again. It's also not about being unbothered or spiritually elite either. Healing is about learning to respond to your pain differently. It's about recognizing the wounds that shaped you and making the conscious decision not to let them drive every choice you make anymore. It's about reclaiming power from the things that broke you, whether that was trauma, abandonment, betrayal, generational patterns, or just life grinding you down. It's really when you stop letting your wounds make all of your decisions for you. And it starts with asking, what am I healing from? What wounds do I carry? And how are they playing out in my life and my relationships and my decisions? Examining questions like, why is having wealth so important to me? What do I think I'll get by achieving it? Or why do I need to be the very best at everything I do? Why do I run in relationships when things start to get serious? Or why do I chase when my partner starts to pull away? And why do I lash out against those I love when I feel slighted, embarrassed, or out of control? Healing means developing the self-awareness to actually ask these questions, and it demands humility. You have to be willing to sit with yourself and recognize the toxic traits that you've normalized, the ones that keep you stuck, the ones that feel automatic but were actually learned responses meant to keep you safe in environments where you weren't. Because when you're not healed, you'll continue to make decisions that are actively harmful to you, and you'll know it, but it's like something takes over and you can't stop it. You get triggered, and instead of pausing, you respond in the exact same way you taught yourself you had to in order to survive. Healing takes a look at all of that and it says, I get it. I needed this once, but I don't need it anymore. And not only do I not need it anymore, it's harmful and it has to go. Healing looks like catching yourself before you spiral into the same reaction you've always known. It looks like realizing that not everything someone does is an attack. It might just be poking at an old wound. But instead of blaming or shutting down or getting angry, you get curious about why it hurts. So you start by identifying and asking key questions about your own behavior. And then you have to try something different. So instead of ghosting someone, you now say, I need space, I'll reach back out soon. Instead of lashing out, you take a walk, breathe through it, and come back and speak from your truth, not your trigger. Instead of chasing validation, you ask yourself, what part of me feels unseen? Instead of blaming everyone, you start noticing your own patterns and start to become responsible for them. Sometimes healing means breaking the patterns you grew up with, so like choosing patience with your child when you were only shown anger. Or maybe it's speaking up in a room where you used to stay silent out of fear or unworthiness. Ultimately, healing means choosing to move intentionally and respectfully instead of reacting on autopilot. Sometimes it's gentle, and sometimes it's messy and ugly. Sometimes it's crying in your car and choosing not to send the angry 2-page text message. Sometimes it's simply feeding yourself, and sometimes it's letting go of people who only know how to love your trauma. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to start paying attention. And when you do, that's when the shift begins. And that's what healing is.